Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I wanted to build a little bit on our last video, which was kind of talking about self-appointing or picking kind of a path for yourself in life and pursuing it in a way that it brings the most of yourself out, and that way you become more fulfilled. Now, I often see strong parallels between business life and home life or real life, if you want to call it, the things that happen outside of work, the person that exists outside of work. Um, and I want to kind of ask a question that really challenges our way of looking at life. So I'd like to say or ask, um, do you have in a business way, I guess, do you have the resume or the prerequisites to being a good father, good mother, strong brother, confidant, friend, mentor, uh, clinician? Do you have the human prerequisites to these things? Not just the things that certify you to be good at them. In fact, it's quite interesting that the most powerful positions in life do not have prerequisites. You do need to have such and such a degree to be able to be a sanitization officer, to be able to be a youth worker, to be able to be a social worker, a doctor, a librarian, camp counselor, anything you name. As soon as it is a profession, it most definitely has prerequisites, and those, let's say, business skills have to be met in order to do a great job at that thing. However, this does not necessarily perpetuate the growth of the individual from that position or in a way that they become more themselves, more human, and less robotic, as in logical with the actions that they have to perform before the end of the day. So everything runs smoothly and no hiccups happen. You can see that's kind of robotic. So then, if there are no prerequisites to being a brother to somebody, then how do we know we're doing a right job or a good job? Um, is it just the kind of immediate success of the person that looks up to us as a big brother that is most important? Or is it the long term going or being there for them? Or is it just helping them out in the immediate situation? Or is it giving them guidance and information? Do we have a right to give guidance and information if we are not sure that we have the prerequisites to such a powerful job? I mean, if we do poorly at what we do, will we not have a huge impact on a whole generation that's younger than us? And therefore, the taking over of the things that we're passing on will also diminish in their ability to be powerful to the generation underneath them. I think this requires a large amount of thought and understanding before we just um, give advice or before we think that we know things that we do not know. Ultimately, if we're going to raise the stakes a bit, we'd move to the position of mother and father. Now, do we have the prerequisites to that? What are those prerequisites? Are we going to be the perfect mother and father for our children or our younger people around us? Do we have that caring compassion, that stern, tough love, but always supportive kind of personality that goes behind maybe the masculine way of doing things, or the caring, nurturing, and always supportive version and always loving version of the motherly figure, generally associated with ladies? These become some very good questions. Have we, at least at the very minimum, kind of transformed our past in a way that is progressive to ourselves? And in that way, just knowing that if we surpassed our challenges, that we might have some insight to give when our children, which are generally mini copies of ourselves, uh, take on those same challenges, and are we able to learn from our own mistakes and admit them to our children and therefore offer greater guidance to them? These are very powerful questions, things to think about. When we take on self care as a way of taking on our health, then we must have these thoughts and considerations and be able to see how our personality plays out in the people around us. Therefore, knowing at least to give advice that is not biased and not tainted by past experiences in a negative way, and are always clarifying and not confusing in their, let's say, wording or guidance. Now that we kind of delve into that tough love situation there, it is important to note that life is a growing process. And as long as we continue to grow, we can continue to correct our past actions, thoughts, and behaviors. And in this way, at least be symbolic of the change that a child may need, or a young person may need. And more importantly, as we unfold ourselves in our later years, we become finally ready to take on the role of wisdom and wisdom giver as a grandparent, and in this way correct the youth. I mean, I feel that is the most powerful thing that grandparents can do. They can see through the things that were kind of socially appropriate in their day and see how things have changed. And through seeing how they've changed, see the wisdom that remained in their era and also the wisdom to be gained in the new era. Balance those things out and be able to say, here is the middle, and here is what I have done, and here is what I have seen. Now, with that knowledge, make your decision, and I'll support you through that, and I will guide you through that. This, to me, is the corrective element, the self-care element of being a mother, brother, sister, cousin, elder, of being a person who has experienced life from their own perspective. You can give wisdom on that perspective, but only if it's towards the growth of the person you're giving it to. This way, people that struggle with mental health can tell you how challenging that is, and therefore give you an idea that you want to guard your mental health very strongly. Same with emotional health. We may see people that are extremely successful, and they might turn around and say, well, it came at a cost that was higher than I thought. Second guess the direction that you're going in, because I am in how I am as a person, the end result of that direction. And these things, I think, are more powerful and corrective, and in that way more enlightening to the person that admits it to themselves, but also that seeks change from that destiny by imparting something onto a younger person. And seeing them make the changes is very inspiring to the person that feels that they've already got their lot in life. So in this way, we have a cycle of change for both people involved in the cycle. I think that is all for today's video on talking about the experience of self-care.